In this lesson, I want to add some type of self-illuminated dots and vines on the surface of the nucleus using V-Ray light material, just to make the cell organism look more sci-fi. To do that, I'll start with the V-Ray light material, and we can find that here. Click on the V-Ray light material. The V-Ray light material works more or less like the surface shader, the surface shader that Maya has to offer. But the difference is that the V-Ray light material, if you double click on it, has also the capacity to work as a direct illumination under V-Ray. So for the V-Ray light material diffuse color, I'm going to be using a ramp, and with the ramp I'm going to link a sampler info just to get that facing ratio that we used for the nucleus, the nucleus diffuse color. So click the V-Ray light material. Now to create the ramp, click on the small checker and select the ramp. For the ramp color, I'm going with purple and pink color just to keep things on the same page. For the first color, I'm going to go for the bottom color, I'm going to go with the purple, saturated purple. For the middle one, I'm going to go with the pink, just to get a nice, think of it as getting a nice glowing effect. So go more with the pink. And for the top one, I'm going to go with the really light, near to white, not almost white, not white, pink, just to get that nice glowing effect. I'm going to make this a bit darker, just so we can get a nice saturation, actually a bit more purple. Alright, now let's go under utilities, select sampler info. Now middle click and drag sampler info over the ramp. From the drop down menu, select other. Now from the left side, select facing ratio, and just click on the small plus sign to open up the UV coord and link this into the U and the V. Just hit close, and this is what we get. Exactly the same result that we had when we used to get the diffuse color for the nucleus. Now I'm going to be using what it's called in V-Ray has a material under the surface shaders called V-Ray blend material, and I'm going to be using V-Ray blend material to add the V-Ray light material on top of the nucleus. And to do that, I'm going to take the nucleus, select the V-Ray blend material, which I'm going to rename it as nucleus blend, because we will going to have another blend for the cell membrane. And I'm going to middle click and drag the nucleus base color into the base material. If you want to learn more about the V-Ray blend material, I highly recommend you to check out the course that Digital Tutors has to offer on V-Ray Hypershades nodes in Maya. And if you scroll down on lesson 6, you'll see utilizing V-Ray blend material node in Maya, and they will go into far more details on all the options and how this material works. And also make sure to check the other ones, because they do a really good job explaining what each shader does. Alright, now for the V-Ray light material, I'm gonna select the nucleus blend, the V-Ray blend material that we created, and middle click and drag the V-Ray light material into the coat 0. So think of it's like the base material is the first layer, and everything you add to these coat material, it will go on top of the base material. So if we go ahead now and do perspective and do a test render, we're not going to see anything different. This is because we didn't add the V-Ray blend material to the nucleus. So open up Hypershade, select the V-Ray, the nucleus, and into the Hypershade right click assign material to selection. Now if we save this for comparison and do another render, this is what we get. So this is, you can see that the light material that we created is blending on top of the nucleus, but this is not looking good. This is not the sci-fi looking that I was talking about. So this is because the blending between the two is about 50%. So if we go to the nucleus blend and we look at this, this is the blend amount. If we take this slider and bring it all the way down to black, this means this coat material will not, we will not see this coat material. If we bring this to white, then this is, you're going to see this blend material, or this line material, rather than, we're not going to see the base. But if we add a nice mask, a nice shader to the blend amount, and we use that as a mask, think of it exactly as the mask it will act exactly as the mask in Photoshop. So everything in white is going to be visible, and everything on the black is not going to be visible. So for the blend material here, I'm going to use a leather shader. So to do that, click on the small checker, and it will open up the Create Render node. Under the 3D textures, select leather. This will open up the this will link the leather into that blend amount. You can see it here. You can see that if we click the nucleus blend and select show input and output connections, you'll see that the leather one is now linked into the blend amount 0. So you can see it here. I'm going to go ahead and name this, just to make it easier, mask 01, and double click on it, and I'll start doing some tweaks just so we get that masking effect. So we're going to be using two colors. I'm going to be using black and white, and I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of tweaks just to get the look that we're going for. So for the cell size, I'm going for the smaller cell size, smaller density. As I said, I wanted that a lot of small dots, glowing dots on the surface of it. And now if you go to the nucleus blend and press F to focus on it, this is what it looks like. And you already can see that we have those nice glowing effect on top of the. So this is masking the V-Ray light material that we just created. So this is just acting like a mask, and we're seeing only what the mask white areas allow us to see. Alright, for the density I'm going to go over 170. For the spottiness, I'm keep it that. I'm going to raise the randomness just so we can get a more random look, and just lower this threshold a bit. Now if we do a render now, keep this looked really bad. Now if we do a render, this is the result I was talking about. So we see we do have some glowing effects, and you see like the front ones are white and the next to them are pink. This is because we have that facing ratio that we added with the ramp. So now if we go into the ramp and change the top color into maybe something like green, just for the test, for the sake of this example, and re-render, this is what we get. So this is the green, and this is, we get the dots green. I'm going to get back to the old color. Now we can make these dots pop out more and have a stronger color, and to do that we just go to the V-Ray material, and instead of color multiply 1, let's go ahead and add 1.5. You see this starts to look more like a self-illuminated material. And now if we do a test render, you'll see this is much more stronger than what we had before. This is what we had before. And this is with the 1.5. So we'll be using that just in post. I'm going to be using this as a self-illuminated pass to get a nice glowing effect for each of these small dots. Alright. Now, I'm going to use the same V-Ray line material in the nucleus, and I'm going to drag the same V-Ray line material into the coat material 1. I know you were saying now, but we just added that in the coat material 0, so this doesn't make any sense why we're using the same thing. Well, I'm going to be using a different type of blending amount, a different type of mask. And for this mask, I'm going to be using a ramp. And just click on the small checker and select under 2D textures, select ramp. For this ramp, I'm going to be using 2 colors, black and white. Make sure to interpolation to be none, because I'm really going for that vine look that you guys must be getting used to. So white, black, again, think of a mask. So this is just exactly as a mask would work in Photoshop. And again, feel free to add as many lines as you want just to get the look that you're going for. For this type, I'm going with the V ramp. Again, I'm going to add some waviness to this using the V wave. To break it apart, I'm going to use the noise and add some noise to it, and maybe some frequency. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a bit smaller because I really want fine, detailed ones. Not going for really big ones. All right. As you can see, if we focus on the nucleus blend, this is what we get. So this is using exactly the same light, but with a different type of mask, and we get a different result. If you want the second light to be different, if you want the second light to have another color or intensity or maybe another type of ramp, just create a new one and link this into the coat material too. Also, feel free to add as many layers you want to this to add as many colors you want. So now, if we go ahead and do a test render, I'll keep this for comparison. This is what we're gonna get. So we have those nice vines, glowing vines on top of it, just to add that nice feel to it. In the next lesson, we'll start creating the shader for the cell membrane.